Welcome back to another edition of Arizona Wildcats Insiders Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Hutchison, and we have just witnessed, we have seen the game, Arizona upsetting number 25 Cincinnati, the Wildcats getting their third win on the road in the Brent Brennan era. Cincinnati was favored by, I think, about 3.5 to 6.5, somewhere in that window going into the game. And, you go up against one of the top offenses in the Big 12. They were scoring 35.6 points per game. Brennan said it in his weekly press conference twice that they were the fastest team, the best offense, and the best quarterback that they have gone up against all season long. It was a tough task. You had a quarterback in Swarsby who had only turned over the football 2 times this whole entire season in terms of interceptions. And then, it's a 10 a.m. game. Those aren't easy, especially when you're traveling from the West Coast to the Midwest like that, or up north like that, whatever you want to call it, in Cincinnati, Ohio. That's not an easy trip. Time zones, weather, and everything in between. And just the history of Arizona football playing early in the morning just really isn't that good. The last time that Arizona played in the state of Ohio came during the 2010 season when the Wildcats smacked the hell out of Toledo, winning 41-2. And, Toledo just isn't that type of program. Cincinnati, it was the first meeting between the two programs. Arizona had never played Cincinnati. And it started off interesting. Arizona was able to win a tip drill, Dalton Johnson tipping the ball, and then Javion Cole coming up with the pick, setting up the easy score for Ishmael Mahdi to start off the game. It's like, oh my God, Arizona started off hot. They got the pick. That's the third pick of the season for Swarsby. Touchdown, and everything looked like it was going to be rolling. And then Cincinnati just started to go on a tear offensively, just running the football down Arizona's throats. At one point, one of their running backs, I think it was Johnson, had 3 carries for 90-something yards. I mean, they were running at will. And before you knew it, like that, it was I think it was 14-3 Cincinnati, something like that. But, Arizona kept on battling. They were able to battle, kick a field goal. And then there's field goal fiascos the whole entire game as well. That's something that kind of goes unnoticed. And actually it was 13-3 because Arizona was able to hold them to field goals. But it kind of goes unnoticed that Arizona had a lot of field goal issues. You have a missed 40-yard field goal where Michael Sagata Medina just shanks it wide left, not even close. And then a blocked field goal attempt as you're trying to get back into the game and take a lead and stuff like that. A lot of things went wrong early on in the game for Arizona, but they were able to battle through. The defense, after some early issues, locked in. I thought they played a great defensive game for 3/4 of that football game. And yes, one of the picks came in the first quarter, but I thought the first quarter, Cincinnati kind of dominated the tempo and dominated the line of scrimmage. But from that point on, Arizona was able to dominate the line of scrimmage and dictate the tempo defensively. Just a tremendous job by Danny Gonzalez and his defensive staff and his defensive players. And then Arizona slowly started to put stuff together offensively. It wasn't pretty at times, but and maybe frustrating at times as well for Arizona fans. But overall, just a really good game plan, I felt like, for Arizona, both offensively and defensively. I mean, we're talking about at the end of the first half, it's 14-10. If Arizona's defense crumbles in that second half, it could have easily been 28-10 at the half, and then it's over. And one thing we don't talk enough about, and yes, it's only 6 points. It's not touchdowns. Arizona won the middle 8. The Wildcats won the middle 8, and it feels like they haven't done that all season. They get a field goal right before half after some horrible field goal kicking, and then they get a field goal to open up the second half. And boom, all of a sudden you're right there. It's 14-13. And then Kendrick Risano breaks off the 50-yard run. That's a 99-yard drive Arizona put together. A great punt by Cincinnati. A really bad decision by Luke Weisson. I think that was his first bad decision as a punt returner, to see that ball roll down to the 1-yard line. And then from that point on, 20-14 Arizona, the Wildcats never looked back. They were dominating the line of scrimmage. on both sides of the ball, coming out with big plays. Noah Fifita was incredible in this game. And, people don't give him enough credit. I saw somewhere, I forget where it was, if it was ESPN or one of the national websites ranking the top quarterbacks in the country, and he was in that 25 to 30 range. That's insane. That's insane. I cannot name. I can't name 12 better quarterbacks than Noah Fifita in college football. I might not be able to name 10 better, and you're putting them at 27. Again, I think of the Big 12, I can name maybe one that's better. Texas Tech with their quarterback if he's healthy. And yes, I know that's Sam. I'm talking about Sam Levin in that conversation. I think Noah Fifita is a better college quarterback. Sam might be a better prospect, but I think he's a better college quarterback. I think it's very close, and I know ASU fans are going to want to hear that. And Sam is a great player and has all the tools. But, I mean, that's insane. And to do what he's done in the last 3 road games, they're 2-1 in the last 3 road games. Fifita has passed for completing 77% of his passes, racking up 776 yards and 7 touchdowns to 0 turnovers. That's high-level, elite-level football. He's getting better on the road, game in, game out, comfortable with the system. And he's just been a menace on the road for teams. And that's something that Arizona desperately needed. And then the running attack, they got better as the game moved along. Not only was it Ishmael Mahdi and Kendrick Risino, but Quincy Craig had some big runs in that game as well. I thought the game plan was perfect. Chris Hutchison, a very underrated game. He put on an absolute clinic against the Cincinnati defense, Cincinnati secondary. You're talking about back shoulder passes, great routes getting open, drawing penalties, pass interference here, pass interference there. An absolute clinic by Chris Hutchison and Noah Fifita when it comes to a connection there. He had 123 yards, 8 catches, no touchdowns. But, man, Chris Hutchison with his best game as a Wildcat, in my opinion. And then Arizona's defense, not only do you get that pick in the first quarter, Dalton Johnson comes up with another one. So you turn over Swearsby twice. He had 2 all season long. You double up his turnovers. And then Arizona, even though they had 1 sack, they kept hitting him because he was able to run at times. And I think one of the most important plays is, and it set up a Cincinnati field goal, where Swearsby gets hit in the red zone, where they have to settle for a field goal, making it 20-17 Arizona. He was hobbling after that. He was not right the rest of the way. And he missed some open throws on that in the last quarter because he just didn't have enough juice behind the ball. And I think that's pounding the quarterback. That happens. So a great defensive game plan. Seth Daggy, tremendous play calling. There's some plays out there where if Arizona doesn't, again, Chris Hutchison had a phenomenal game, but if he doesn't have a false start, Arizona scores a touchdown instead of field goal to open up the second half. They had Quincy Craig wide open on the left side of the field on a quick screen pass. That would have been in there for a touchdown. And then, again, this kid had a tremendous game as well. Gio Richardson kind of alligating a catch that led to an incomplete pass. He catches it properly and brings it in. He's running into the end zone, and Fifita has 2 touchdowns on the day. So I thought it was a great play calling by Seth Daggy. And I thought it was a great defensive game plan, especially as it adapted by Danny Gonzalez, and a tremendous job by Brent Brennan as a head coach. He doesn't get enough credit. He doesn't get enough love from the fan base. But now Arizona's sitting at 7-3. Realistically, could easily be 8-2 or 9-1. And this program's moving in the right direction. Arizona will come home and play Baylor. They will be the favorite in that game. And you close out the season on the road in Tempe against Sun Devils, who are kind of reeling. I mean, West Virginia took them to the brink, and West Virginia is not a very good football team this season. And for Noah Fifita, the 1 passing touchdown sets a program. It breaks a record. It's a program record. People say new record, but it's a program record. 68th touchdown pass of his career, putting him number 1 on top for all-time passing touchdowns in U of A history. Passing Willie Tuitama and Nick Foles at 67. Just a tremendous career by Noah Fifita. Big-time performances, big-time plays. And now he has the 10-win season under his belt. Yes, he had a bad year last year. And to be honest, I think a 9-win regular season is realistic now with that one against Cincinnati. I think they're going to beat Baylor, and I think that ASU game is very much open for this conversation for Arizona to win. And if they do that and get to the Alamo Bowl or get to a Big 12 championship game and win 10 games, that's insane to have 2 10-win seasons under your belt. But a lot of football left to be played. Just a tremendous game by Arizona to pull off the upset. Michael Salgado Medina, we mentioned the missed field goals, but he bounced back. He had a 51-yarder to make it a 6-point game, making Cincinnati need to have a touchdown, forcing Cincinnati to need to have a touchdown on that final drive. So way to bounce back there. But in all, Arizona, tremendous game, pulling off the upset on the road in Cincinnati.